So welcome back. Today is video number 3, step number 2 of the 4-step process to maximize your IT and get a higher return. Step number 2 that we're going to talk about today is all about maximizing the return on existing assets. So far, we covered step number 1, which was knowing what you have. And in that, we went over all of the solutions you have, all of the services you have, the gaps you might have today, the inefficiencies and how they're working, any manual workarounds your teams are having to do, and if you have duplicate or redundant systems. We know you still might not have the things you want, but before we look into that, we really need to maximize the returns on the things you have so that you can stop paying for things that aren't contributing to your success, so that you can create the foundation for the awesome IT environment I know you can have in the future. What we're going for is a highly optimized, simple environment that's actually going to do everything you want and kind of nothing you don't, and so we don't have added complexity. A lot of the work that we're going to do to maximize the return on existing IT is going to help us save money to pay for new things that are going to make it that awesome place. So to begin maximizing, we really need to do a deeper analysis on the solutions and services you have today. But we don't want to do that on everything. Depending on the size of your business, that could be really overwhelming and not add a lot of value if you looked at every single thing. So before we really get into taking action to maximize return, we need to prioritize which of the solutions or services you want to look at first. So we know what you have. Now let's prioritize their focus areas. So there's really 6 criteria that we want to look at in the prioritizations. 3 of them for solutions, and those are: find those solutions that are extraneous, duplicated, or they're just not really doing anything and you have other processes in place. And we're going to focus on extraneous and retiring those. We're going to look at underperforming systems. Those that are there, you need to have them and you don't think that they're throwaway, but they probably need to be reconfigured, replaced potentially in the future, or just enhanced a little bit to get where you need. We're going to look at integrations around your solutions so that we can reduce duplicate handling, streamline operations, and just make the IT work for you. And then there's the 3 criteria or 3 priority criteria for services. So when we're looking at third-party services, you're looking at first service providers that are not meeting their contractual terms. So that should be relatively easy to identify as long as you can get a copy of the recent contract. And I know not everybody has that readily available, so make sure you get that first. We're also going to look at services that are not providing value for cost. So maybe the provider's meeting their contractual obligations, but based on what the contract is and the value you get out of it, it's really not adding to your success in the future. So that's the second part. And the third service priority criteria is checking that those things that you're getting from your service providers are in alignment with current market opportunities. So maybe when you signed the contract a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, in some cases, it all made great sense and they were the best of what was available in the market, but that might not be true today. So that's one of the things that you want to look for when you're maximizing. For each of those things, as we start looking through your services, so you want to keep those things in mind. Again, extraneous, underperforming, and of course, ideally, you're going to find things that are optimized. And if they're optimized, you can ignore them moving forward from here. For those things that are extraneous or underperforming, prioritize that. Literally create a prioritized list starting with number 1 and put the solution or the service on top of the list that has the most issues, the worst performance, the most manual workarounds or highest number of manual workarounds, or maybe just the thing that your team hates the most, and changing it or getting rid of it or doing something different would increase employee morale and make things a lot better in your day-to-day. So number that list. So remember, optimized, we don't care. Extraneous and underperforming, we want to go through and prioritize them with the things that are the most painful to the things that are the least painful. Now go back to your numbered list and starting from number 1, identify the gap that you have. Picture what the ideal version of that solution or that service looks like and how far away is that from what you get today. Once you have that vision of what the ideal world looks like, what would that mean to you? What would it mean to your business? Is it going to save you money? Is it going to save you time or your staff time? Is it going to help you sell more of your products or services? Figure out what outcome you would actually get if you fix that problem, and then quantify it. So it's great to say it would save money. but really spend the time to figure out how much money it would save. If it's going to save your staff time, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to them? Saving time just for the sake of it may not be meaningful if it adds other problems. So really think about the outcome and the benefits you're trying to achieve. Once you have that, you have your list of problems essentially. You have your list prioritized, so you know the ones you should focus on first, and you know exactly what benefits you should get if you fix that issue. So this is your list of IT opportunities. From there, look through the list, figure out what are quick wins. Quick wins are things that you can easily resolve without changing out tech. So things that could use minor reconfigurations. Maybe when it was put in, a decision was made around a particular configuration that hasn't led to the opportunity that you thought the solution would provide. So look at minor changes that would make it a significant improvement or enhancement. Look at your service provider contracts. Are there any contracts that you could renegotiate? Maybe it's not time for renegotiation, but have that in your back pocket. So when it is time, you know exactly what you're trying to get out of it. I'm not suggesting you get rid of all your service providers. Getting rid of a service provider is painful. You don't really want to change everything in IT unless you absolutely have to. What you want to do is find ways to make it better. Work on that relationship. Work on what you want to get out of those service providers and be really open about that with them so that they can respond. If you have things that have made your prioritized list and have amazingly high benefits or outcomes that you can expect once they're fixed, but involve a retirement of a solution or a replacement in full of a solution, don't do anything with that yet, including if you have a vendor or a third-party service provider that you want to swap out entirely. Just hold on that for the moment. Do the quick wins, the things that don't require big change. For those things that do require significant change or transformation, you're going to want to wait until after steps 3 and 4 in this process. If you make those decisions now, it's what we talked about yesterday. It's going to be a one-off decision, and you're not going to be able to take into consideration all of the other moving parts that are in an IT environment. So big change, wait. Small change, go ahead, get it done. See what value you can maximize today while we wait to start steps 3 and 4. Some people stop after this. They don't find things that they need to retire or replace. They don't want to add anything new. They feel like they're generally in control, and that's okay. So if you want to stop here, that's totally cool. If you want to do more, if there's new things you want, if there's strategies that you're sure you could be implementing, but you're just not quite there yet, steps 3 and 4 are the things that'll help you. So thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about step number 3, which is integrate the technology plan that we've been working through into your strategy to get the most out of that into the future. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.